I was pretty good at selling fitness because I believed in it. Like I just was like, dude, you're gonna feel good. Like you're gonna look good. I promise. Just let's keep going. But like having like a structure to business and how I operated would have been really cool. And then being able to be profitable in the front end, like so I didn't feel like, all right, I gotta make money. Like you knew when the customer came in, if you did it right, you would get money, and then you can go ahead and serve more.
Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Gym Owners Growth Zone podcast, the show designed to help gym owners improve and grow their business. I'm your host, Andres Escobar, and I'm so grateful to have you join us today. Today, we have Keith Bailey, who is a visionary leader in the field of fitness and nutrition. After 10 years of serving in the Air Force, Keith took the less comfortable route and pursued his entrepreneurial dreams. He focuses on teaching his clients to get out of their comfort zone and become the desired person they are to be. Keith is also a prior gym owner, and now he's an online fitness nutrition coach. He loves to snowboard and toss heavy weights around, just like a lot of you, and play sports and spend time with his family. If this is your first time listening to the show, please consider subscribing to the podcast and share this episode with someone whom you think will enjoy it. As we dive into the episode, listen to how he created his online program and how he uses his beliefs and promises to himself to overcome his adversity. I think it's uncomfortable to talk about sales. For a PT coach to talk about sales is uncomfortable because they are not used to it. They're not practicing. They're not doing that activity on a consistent basis. Now, if they are, then it's not uncomfortable. It's not silly. But they need to practice it and just be uncomfortable. And trust. I think we talked about the trust factor is big. The trust your owner, your leader, your mentor that's telling you, hey, say this script sometime during your coaching session and you will get a referral. And so,
and understanding that it's part of, it's literally part of the community that's there is what I think that's the biggest thing. Because when I tried to do it first, I just said, hey, we're going to start asking people for referrals, right? So that's a mistake.
We have a new referral program. Hey, come on and get on in.
I want you to do that. Like I told my head coach, I want you to do this. And he's like, right on, I got it. Okay. But in reality, he didn't see the big picture of like, okay, this person's coming in, they're exercising, they're working out. We need growth in the business. How about like, you like me, I like you. Where's your friend? Like, let's bring a friend. And like, it was more of like an approach or a play in the mind of the coach when I said it, because I now looking back, I'm like, yeah, I probably could have just like done it, showed them, and then talked about the big picture of how it could all make just a better environment inside of our gym. And I think that might be the big picture of like when you go try to tell a coach to do something, or someone on the floor that, like you said, is just personal training. Like their mind is sets, reps, workout, music, not the other outlying business stuff. If you can tie it all together and let them understand like how they play that role and how integral what they say and do actually is to the growth and the sustainability of the company, I think then the buy-in and then their ability to do all the weird and awkward things, it's not so awkward anymore because they get it. Because once you understand why you do something, you typically are able to do it without an issue.
Right, because you start unnatural, and then later on you build that into your system. Like, then it becomes natural conversation. Then it just becomes a part of who you are and how you just walk around. It's like, hey, because for me, I'm a natural promoter. If I like you and you have a product, bro, I'm gonna be like, yo, if the guy's good and he's created something, let's promote it. Let's talk about it, right? And so I think for us, we have a way to naturally do it and engage and find out like what triggers. Like human behavior is so interesting to me. Like we have Review Biz and we have a system that processes where people fall off and engage and don't engage. And so we can take out the people that are engaging with us and say, okay, let's talk to those people because there's something called nonverbal marketing communication that it's not talked about everywhere. I don't hear too much about it, and I can't say I quoted and made that term up, but I am going to say that I'm the one that's going to make it very popular. You got to be able to engage with the people that are engaging with you, but how do you know they're engaging with you? Just because they didn't reply, but did they open? Did they click? What did they do? So that becomes an interesting topic there. But let's get started, dude. Let's go. Let's get the start of the show. I know the producers have been listening. Like, wait, this is not how it usually starts. I don't usually start like that, but we're having a great conversation. I want to make sure I capture it, and so let's just go ahead. I'm just gonna cut us off. 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. I have on the show Keith Bailey, and Keith, thank you so much. I really enjoyed our conversation that we've been having, and I wanted to bring you on here to just share a little bit about your story and how you came to be, and how you're able to share with the audience the magic of what you're creating right now. So, hey, Keith.
How's it going, man? I appreciate you having me on here.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks, man. Tell us a little bit about who you are, how you started into the fitness world, and what journey got you to where you are right now.
Yeah. Well, fitness started for me back in high school. I think a lot of personal trainers, gym owners, things like that. It was a piece of a confidence builder. A transformation. It was the looks. I was reading the magazines, just like the young kid trying to follow the bodybuilder's program, and I struggled with it for a while, and finally kind of cracked the code of just keep working hard, right? There's no secrets. I couldn't eat one certain food or do one certain workout, and eventually I got leaned up and started looking. I was the fit guy, and it rose my confidence. I tell everybody, when I talk about this story, is it was looks, it was vanity.
Right.
I really wanted to be in shape.
Yeah. It starts like that for a lot of people. So I think everybody can relate to that. A lot of people.
Yeah. And that's okay. I think it's fading to where vanity is not allowed anymore. It's dude, everybody wants to look good naked. It's okay.
Yeah.
But what I found was once I did that, my confidence, all the things who I wanted to become and how the growth I wanted, the success I wanted started to become reality in my mind. And it was because I had put so much work inside that fitness, right? I just worked on myself, and now it's dude, I can do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that kind of translated into wanting to help people. I was dude, you got to do this. You need to be in shape. It was that drug that you're trying to push on people, but it was a good one, right? So I just started naturally wanting to help people, and I got certified. I worked at LA Fitness, I worked at Snap Fitness, I worked at Anytime Fitness, worked at the first 4 or 5 years of that kind of just bounced around. Ended up joining the military, and
that's right.
Throughout that time, I was, I spent 10 years there, and I was kind of one of the guys who was known as, mindset, always upbeat, in shape, and trying to, just kind of help people with their fitness and nutrition and stuff. It was a passion of mine. I was a guy, you wake up at 5 a.m., I'm there pushing you, running through a PT program or something, making people work when they were failing their PT test. I was typically there showing up with them to help them out, to push them, in some way, form, or fashion, helping people with the mindset and fitness. And
I knew I liked you because I actually had that role. I was also in the military, as I told you, and in boot camp, I was running PT drills for the whole squadron. It was pretty cool. Dude, how did I get picked to do this? I totally forget about that story in mind, but you just reminded me. So thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, being up front. Yeah, actually I did that too in basic training. I forgot about that. They do pick 2 people, and you get to sit up front. Yeah, I did. I led some. I don't think you get to lead it, but you get to be the instruction of
it.
Right.
You tell everybody, hey, listen, this is what we're doing. All right, this is how we do it. Boom. All right, go, stretch now.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. And that translates into the military. One of the extra duties or additional duties is PTL. So naturally, I'm I'll go make people work out or test them on their test days and stuff. I enjoyed that. I just like being in the environment, and it led me to deployments, coaching people. People have always asked how do you do this? How do you do that? Like fitness wise. And just had quite a few questions coming. I'm like, man, I'm about to start training people. So I looked up online apps and stuff. And I actually had a guy that was like going to build me one out, because I thought that I was creating online coaching. You know what I mean? Like, it was 2017. I thought I came up with this idea that nobody had ever touched. And I was wrong. So I ended up not having a guy build it out, because that's way too much money, time, and effort. And they have, white labeled places where you can build your own little program. So I started doing that and helping people. I did it for free, and then I charged like $20, $30. I didn't know. I just was like, hey, let me help you. And I was like, very entrepreneurial minded. So I'm like, where's my cash? How can I get paid for this? But if I could go back, I think I would have just never asked for $1 and literally just went all in on like the best program I could think of that entailed everything they needed, and just let that marinate, instead of, not that them asking for money ruined anything, but I think that it was just so minute. There wasn't anything there that was going to grow. It wasn't a business. It could have just been like remember like 5 years ago when Keith just like got me shredded and didn't ask for $1, that would have been cooler than anything, right? So I could have even went harder, like training him a longer time. But anyway, that's kind of where the beginning.
Interesting
of, like,
model
the,
that you
the
just
new
mentioned there.
business came.
There's a guy I mentioned where we met at GymCon. There's a guy I met that it's all donation. So basically, and this is interesting. Maybe you want to think about this. It's every member signs up. They don't pay anything. Like there's no like $30 or $50. It's all what you think you should pay. That's it. Basically, it's a, whatever you feel the value of this is. And he's told me that it's actually turned out to be more than he was going to originally charge. So that might be a better plan than not charge anything, because you want to give them a charge of some kind of value.
Well, I say in the beginning, bringing the value. One thing I've learned over the years is, continuing to lead with value. So bringing someone something and never asking, if you need money, that's a whole different concept. And business obviously needs to make money, but I just meant like back in the day, like I would charge like $30 or $50, and I was still trying to make $1.
Right.
I was, and I wasn't. I wish I had led a little bit more with, because I did want to help. Absolutely, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't want to help. But just going back, I would have led a little more with, like, watch this, watch how good I can make this product, watch how they're going to be like, holy shit, I want more of that. That would have been the mindset if I could go back. But anyway, I ended up doing that while I was on my last deployment, came back, got out of the active duty, joined the Guard. And that's when I started building TWB Fitness. Together we build. Started in where did we start? In a park. Mm-hmm. Tried to get some traction there. Man, that was rough. Like I left active duty Air Force in Minot, North Dakota, moved to Colorado. I moved there on the 2nd. By the 5th of the month, so like 3 days literally, no, maybe 4. So I think it was that next Friday or Saturday. I was like already marketing to the base, trying to get people to come out to this park to come work out with me, because I was about to change their life, right? We go out there I think it was that first Saturday. We get out there like 7 a.m. Crickets. Nobody shows up. The next week, we were trying to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday thing. It took me like a month to get one person to show up. I finally got like 6 or 7 people. Never really did close any clients there because I didn't have a system.
Right.
So then I ended up moving over to a gymnastics studio, and I opened up, more of a boot camp style, 3 days a week. In the mornings, negotiated a little rent, and that's where we got the first traction. We started running Facebook ads, started working on like, hey, do you know someone? Just trying to get people come out, work out with us. And then from there we grew. We just continued to implement systems and, hire people. We built a meal prep component on there. We were doing, 200 meals a week for a little while. So that's kind of the basics of, the story for me, from getting from, 17 years old, wanting to help or transform myself, to owning a company that helps transform other people.
Nice, man. Thank you. Right now, that's awesome. So right now you're doing online coaching, right? So that there might be people that's listening right now that's like, I'm thinking about doing some online coaching, I want to just transition from a physical location to online coaching. I want to do a mixed hybrid. Tell us a little bit about that and that where you're at right now.
Yeah. Well, if there's a gym owner listening to this, they're thinking about it.
Yeah.
And they should be, because it's the internet. Like, it's a really high profitable and very high impact if done right, which is the cool part about it. Now, I'm not saying everybody should do a hybrid or transition, not at all. I'm just saying, like, there is opportunity to give your clients, no matter where you are, a higher level of service with an online component.
Yeah.
So what we did was, like I said, I think in the back of my mind, like hindsight, looking back the past 5 years, I've wanted the online side forever, right? So I came in to 2019 and I took an OTA, Online Trainer Academy. Jonathan Goodman, I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. He had that, and it's a phenomenal program. It teaches you everything about building a business online. And something wasn't clicking. Now looking back, I know this. I didn't know how to be like, I'm really good in person with you.
Right.
Like, people typically like me. They are like, this dude motivates me. I'm knowledgeable because of the, my learnings. I know how to help people, right? That's a very big component. But helping them in an online capacity became a freaking brick wall.
Wow.
I was like, I could not think of how, like, I couldn't wrap my head around how to help someone without being there with them. And some people may feel that way. Some people are like, no, it's just you can oversee. I could not see it. Even with training, coaching, like courses, I just could not wrap my head around being, like, giving a value. So I didn't believe in it. That's pretty much what happened. When you don't believe in something, you don't go forward.
No, you don't. So what would be like 2 or 3 different things that you would say that somebody thinking about it should do? Like, think about, like, I don't even think that people know that there is a online training academy that will certify them to learn how to coach. And it makes sense, because I have a buddy that he trains trainers on how to train 50-year-olds and over, right, and plus. So that makes sense. Like, hey, listen, there's a way to train people.
And it that course, not to get too far in it, outlines like the basic foundation of business, and then some components you're going to need in the online capacity. But you can have those components and still not grasp what your job is to actually help that person succeed. Because they need support. They need to understand what to do with their fitness. They need assessing of their fitness. They need corrections with their fitness. They need nutrition of some sort. Like, you don't have to have a nutritionist on site to be able to help someone with nutrition.
Yeah.
But, they need those components. And delivering it is tough. So, I mean, I would say experience in personal training would be first. I think a lot of people are like, I'm just going to go online. I've heard you can make money online, and you can. But if you go straight to online, that's going to be tough. I really do. I think so, because if you think about it, I hadn't personal trained in about 6 years, like officially. I had some clients that I would go in the gym and train. Like, I remember one I did in person while I was deployed, and I did, but I didn't have a book of people that's just what I did. Right. So my immediate, I needed a refresher on being like in the trenches of personal training.
Experiment. Business is about experiments, and you got to try out things and see if this works. Okay, great. No, it doesn't work. Oh, dang. Okay, adjust, change.
Right. Yeah. And how does that person receive it? Who are you talking to? So when you have a gym or you're a personal trainer, you kind of just like take people that come in. Like, you're looking. You don't have the avatar or that ideal customer. Like, you don't have that person in mind. And because in person you can have all walks of life, but vibe with them on some level because you're in person. But when you come to online, like, you almost have to have that person who you get them and they get you, and like, you can chat for a little bit and it's not seem weird, right? And I'm not saying you won't have a bunch of people that you don't vibe with, even when you're trying to do that. That's just the nature of the business. But having that experience and being able to translate what works for the clients and make sure that you're still able to give it to them in some capacity would be a huge piece of that puzzle. Being able to understand where they need you, because you're not just, there's no component where you're in their face. So you don't get that, they don't get that excitement. I'm going to meet my trainer.
Do you feel it's more customized online than it is in person, or vice versa? Which one do you think is more customized to the individual, right?
Online.
Yeah.
It all. So this is the thing. It could all be, if you're only in person and you're doing that component, you can customize the workouts. Sure, you can check form, you can correct form, you can do that. But what you have the opportunity for online is a program that meets their needs as a whole, right? You can actually take someone through the hurdles of their weekends. You can walk them through how to schedule their week and how to eat throughout their week so that they don't ruin it on the weekends, right? You can create packages that encompass everything. That way you're not like, oh, nope, not going to talk about that because I get paid by the session, right? Which is cool. It's a much more scalable approach.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I appreciate that, man. Thank you for letting us kind of sneak peek of how you develop your program and the differences between, in person and online, because people need to understand that before they jump into that online world. So let's just go. Jumping into an online world, there's bumps and bruises that come, and so in life is a roller coaster, and that's what we like to say around here. And there's ups and downs, lefts and rights, turns. You're not ready for. So there's guardrails and there's a track that helps you stay inside of that cart in that roller coaster. For you, what has been a track or a guardrail that's helped you stay on track and focus on getting to your goal, to destination where you're headed to?
Well, I think a piece of that, if I had to sum it up, I would say just dedication and determination to be the best version of myself. That's kind of like what keeps me in track, because there's a lot of things that, the desire to go on vacations, the desire to, let loose on the weekends, maybe drink a little too much and be lazy, like those kind, just kind of like sitting in the moment and thinking, oh, it's good enough. Like just the desire to be better and not accept right now is enough has kind of kept me going.
Yeah.
The desire to prove that I can do it. Like, a lot of people don't believe in themselves. They don't believe that they can. They don't believe that it's possible. $20, $30, $40, $50,000 months. It seems crazy to people. And growing a business that actually functions and helps people. I wanted to prove that. I wanted to be able to say, yeah, I did that. I am a business owner. Because entrepreneurship's a tough road.
Yeah.
And I'm still new. I really am. I'm very, very new, because I've been in it a little over 4 years, but in reality, I had the military backing me for a little bit of that. So I'm very fresh with it, and just knowing that I want to be better. There's more. There's just continuous layers of it. And then, of course, my wife, she's always there.
Nice.
As like a physical person to, hey, you got this. Like there's days you come in and like, man, is this shit going to work? Am I going to be, when am I going to be here? And just, just having someone there that's, that kind of brings you back, like, dude, look what you've been doing. Look at all that you do, and just reminding you of how far everything's come.
Yeah.
So I guess that would kind of be
interesting when you talked about wife. You hear the adage, it's behind every good man is a good wife. But somebody said the other day, is like, in front of a good man is a great wife, encouraging and leading. And I have to tell you that's so true. And sometimes it takes a while for the wife to jump on. Sometimes you got to move forward and go forth and cast the vision and create the land, right, and say, hey, this is what we have. And then she's like, yeah, that's great. Like, let's go.
Yeah. Well, it's leadership. It really is. You got to lead, like, that's your family. So especially military, you can probably relate to this. Very, or any service member, something like that. Very structured. When your pay's coming, you could literally, like, on year 5, calculate close to what you'll retire.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's the predictability, and that's what people love. And families love that too. Spouses love that too. People want to feel like it's coming. So I think just like you have to do, like, build confidence in yourself by showing up consistently and, like, proving to yourself that you'll do it, so that you don't lack the trust or lack the confidence. Same concept there. Like, over time, I've done things I've said I want to do, and then I would do it. And now my wife inherently believes I will do it. Right? Mm-hmm. So that's a huge piece of it. So if you're someone who like literally like drinks on the weekends, never shows up for anything, doesn't take care of their body, isn't on point with anything, never accomplishes things, and then you got this dream, you could be that person. But dude, you're not even fucking taking care of your body.
Bro.
You think you're about to take care of the family on your own and wake up every day and grind?
Yeah, you got to be that champion, 100%.
Yeah.
Champion at home first, starts there. No, and it's interesting what you're talking about is when you talk about dedication, I'm thinking about the why. Like, dedication is cool. Yeah, we know dedication, perseverance, pushing forth, grit, you know. It's one of the attributes that you're able to achieve great things.
It's a must.
But the why you're doing this. I had a guy on yesterday on the podcast, and he's talking about legacy, you know. I don't know, Keith, do you have kids? I know you have a wife, but do you have kids?
Yeah, I have a 2-year-old. Well, she'll be 2 in like 20 days.
Yeah.
Less than 20 days.
So you have a 2-year-old. I'm guessing only one?
Yeah.
Okay. This guy had 6
now.
kids.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's like, oh. And he's like not even thinking about just his kids, but he's thinking about his kids' kids, grandchildren, creating something of value that and shaping their mindset on how to continue moving forward and that stuff. So yeah, it's huge. The dedication, why, so good, dude, so good.
I struggled with that for a second.
Yeah.
With what you're saying, like understanding not the why. Like I love helping people, and fitness is my thing. So naturally, that's the route I went. The more I know and learn business, I see a lot of opportunity. But one of the things, like you just said, is like that legacy, sending something down. I thought about that, and I was like, dude, what does my business, like my family business, look like sending it down? And I kind of thought that's what I had to do, is like build something that I was sending down. But in reality, I'm just building skills and knowledge and traits that need to be honed in on. So instead of me looking at, I'm building this business to send it down, no, I'm building a character that you need to understand what you need to be, like, so you can do anything you want to. You can apply all this shit to anything you want to, because it still has to happen in every aspect of your life. So it's not the business I'm sending down. It's the character traits, the human, the belief, the confidence. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, this reminds me so good about it's not what you leave for them, is what you leave in them what matters.
Yeah.
So Alex Hormozy, I saw a post that he did the other day. He bought a piece of land, and he thought to himself, he owns that piece of land. It's his land. It's titled to him. But how many people before him owned that land? Many people. And it's like,
he bought it from someone.
But they're probably dead. You know, down there. They bought this land. They said it's theirs. They passed it along. It's inheritance or sold it. But they didn't take it with them. And he's like, it's like playing a game of poker, and you have all the chips on your side, but then the Grim Reaper comes around and says, "Hey, it's your time. Let's go. Leave your chips there." And you leave the casino without your chips. That's, you know, if you win in at the table, you want to take your chips. I'm cashing in. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm good. But life's not that way, and it's interesting. That's not what you leave for them. It's what you leave in them that matters, so they can take it and pass it along to the next generation, and again and again and again. So
yeah, they become that person versus this business was given to.
Exactly, dude. No, so good. So, goal is a beautiful word to hear when you're scoring on the soccer field. This last World Cup was won by Argentina because of one important player. Yeah, you got it. It was the goalie. He secured the win for the team, and in the same way, ReviewBiz platform will catch negative reviews before they go online. In addition, it helps you score and promote fresh new reviews so you can crush the competition. So don't let those big box gyms take your clients. ReviewBiz will help you build your online presence and turn your own members into your best sales reps. Get your first 5 reviews for only $1. All you got to do is go to reviewbiz.io/try to get started. So obviously death is something that, for me, I think about it. It's memento mori. Yeah, you too will die. And it's a Stoic principle. But there's another Stoic principle, and it's like the obstacle is the way, and the challenge in life. You know, in your business, what has been a challenge that you have had to overcome, and how are you able to do so? If you could share with us, I'd love to hear that.
Well, first thing that comes to mind, man, that's the big C word back in 2020.
Mm-hmm. Dude, I had that
didn't
was
wanna
talked
go
about
there
the other day
because I know
too. It's funny. It's we can't get over it.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't mind talking about it, but I think it's like, well, no shit. Everybody had a problem there. You know, mine was a little different though during that time. And I mean, there's been, I'm actually on phase 3 of what I call TWB right now. It's the third phase of the business. So I started tracking it in a way of not starting over or changing the way I'm routing things. Just it's a new phase. It's evolving, and this is what it'll become. That way, instead of like the fat loss person or whatever, they're like, oh, I got to start over. I really ruined this last month. No, it's just phase 2.
Right.
Like you're picking back up. There's a little gap, whatever. I didn't have a gap, but I have a different trajectory and kind of like an outcome. And I think that's just how business is. But anyway, I say COVID times because 2020 is when I took the small little rent that I had of about $1,000 for the boot camp rent. You remember I told you I was renting out of a gymnastics studio? Well, the day they shut the entire our state down in Colorado, I guess that was the day the country really shut down. I think it was the 17th or something like that. But anyway, that was the week that was supposed to be our first week of opening. I literally just built the gym out.
Was that February or March?
Lease and everything. It was March.
March.
Yeah. So that's why I remember it so much, because we had been waiting to have our first full week, morning, evening, with multiple sessions, all of our equipment. Like, it was a big hype. And not to mention, I just poured everything I had into this gym, like a bunch of money. Right. And, I had to shut it down. Yeah. Like, I literally couldn't even have my first week. I don't think we had the first day. I think it was maybe a Monday when it came out. And I don't think we were supposed to have our evening sessions, right? Like, that was kind of the official, but it took a couple of days to really realize, like, okay, maybe we shouldn't. But anyway, that was when we shut it down. And I'm like, well, what do I do? Like, I just shut a business down. I just opened the same day, like same week. Right. You know what I mean? Like, what the hell? So that was I don't even remember what I felt. I just remember the actions I took.
Good.
And I grew by 5 people during that shutdown. So I was like, and back then it was like, it's only 5 people. I was like, dude, we grew by 5 people when we shut our business. Like, whose business closes and grows? You know what I mean? Like, how does that?
So you stayed wherever you were at, and then you grew by 5.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you retained people,
everybody.
and then obviously, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. We kept them all because nobody, I don't know. We had such a tight knit of people because we weren't that big. We weren't huge. We had probably like 30, 40. And they all knew us from like ground up. So them leaving, and not to mention back then our prices were just super low.
Right.
But
you opening up brand new location. Like, you got introductory prices. Here we go.
Doing. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I would say that's the biggest obstacle because, you open and shut a business the same day. That's pretty hardcore, especially when you're very, very, very new at entrepreneurship. Like, it's talk about like the trials and tribulations in the trenches of entrepreneurship. Well, I got slapped in the face like day one.
So that was the challenge and the obstacle. How were you able to overcome it and grow to 5? Growth happens. So, it doesn't happen. You do something about it. So what did you do?
Right. So I took the online capacity. Remember the online portion I had been working on? Well, I just took everything I had built there and said, hey, I'm gonna still coach you. I'm gonna provide you with workouts. I created a private Facebook group where I did a workout every day at 5 p.m. So it's really my members group. And then I started like inviting people like, hey, you can come too. But my members got to get a workout. Like, so at Monday through Friday at 5 and Saturday morning at 9:30. I ran like that schedule, and every day I was leading the workout. And what I would do is, I don't know if you remember back then, they had like a lot of content was like at home gym bag, at home, like you can use this, you can use that. Well, I was in that game, and I should have just been like, dude, fuck all that stuff. This is what you need to do right now. Like, I could have went a different way, but I was trying to like be the crowd of content, which was dumb. But anyway, I did that, and I helped people. You know, like we had paper plates for sliders, we had jugs we'd fill up a backpack for squats or like front squats and stuff like that.
You got gritty. You got gritty. Hey, we got to figure this out.
Yeah.
Like, let's get this done. I love it. I love it. You know, it's interesting.
So
love it.
We did that, and that was like the component of the keeping the gym going, right? That was how we kept people on. And how we added people was I just went back into follow-up, man. I just called people like, hey, I know you were supposed to come in, or I know I had referrals or something. And I would just sit on the phone and tell them what we were going to do. You know, this is how we're going to do it right now. You still have these goals. It doesn't matter if you go in a gym or not in a gym. Because, you know, at this point, I had been in the military, so I had deployed. I'd lived in tents. I've been everywhere and kept up with my fitness.
Yeah,
like that's not even like a thought. Like, you don't need this place, this certain weight, anything to be in shape. You're just coming up with excuses if not. And I was able to portray that to them and let them understand. Look, I got you.
Yeah.
And 5 people. Yeah,
that's great. Cool. That's great, dude. Yeah, no, for sure. I in 2020, you actually turned it up a notch on our business. And we grew as well. So, you know, it could be a bad thing. It could be a good thing. Depends how you perspective, your mindset, your belief. I think you mentioned that. That's so good. So, yeah, I love it, dude. I love it. So, you know, you're in the fitness industry for a while now. You have enough knowledge, enough experience. What do you think in the fitness industry needs to change, needs to improve? Something that we need to overcome in the fitness world right now. What do you think is the biggest issue we need to overcome?
I guess, I mean, the biggest, that's a tough one. That's a good question.
Yeah. Listen, this is, take the gloves off and let's just go. Come on. Like let loose. Like this is your opportunity to just get it off your chest, you know?
Well, I think there's 2 like aspects of it in my eyes. I see the creation, the people putting out things to do, and then I see the people receiving it, right? Which I guess it's not like I didn't create that, but that's I kind of see it in 2 ways, and I see the receiving it side, like because you got to think like the consumer is in the fitness industry too. They're consuming, right? So that person needs to believe and do and just stick to something, right? That's kind of the how to get it done so that you don't fall victim to all of the stuff that's being put out, right? See how those go together? But I would say misinformation or absolutes. If I had to sum it up, it would be absolutes because a lot of people will take some piece of some study and then come tell you that now, like there's a guy who, I don't know his name, was talking about oatmeal and how there's I can't remember, was it phytogens or I don't even know the damn term of the thing, but something inside the oatmeal was it allows the body to not absorb nutrients, but that's just a piece of it, right? Yes, it does do that, but there's X, Y, and Z reasons why that doesn't really matter that much, right? But it was an absolute. It's like no longer eat oatmeal. Quit eating oatmeal was like, dude, fuck off,
dude.
Right?
I'm with
like, so things like that. Now you got people out here really trying, like looking for information or scrolling across a doctor, and they're like, okay, I can't eat oatmeal anymore. Like it's no longer healthy for me, right? Fruit or
right, dude. Yeah, I love it, dude. Like that's it, dude. I love that.
It's the absolutes. It's the absolutes claims, like because honestly, I've drank beer and liquor and gotten lean. Yeah. And you can do it. Now, I'm not saying you binge drink every day, but I'm just saying, like, that's a poison, right? Mm-hmm. So you can eat oatmeal. You can eat. Right? And the bottom line is, like, and I hate the word now because it's kind of overplayed, but moderation. But I think it's moderation, but it's understanding what your moderation is. Because my needs and your needs are different. My needs and someone who needs to lose 100 pounds are different, right? So you need to understand your moderation, your parameter, your guidelines, and where you need to perform, and then you can choose how you feel that without having absolutes stopping you.
I love it.
You don't feel like you're ruining yourself by eating oatmeal.
Dude, I'm with you, man. I'm gonna just double tap on that right there because it is so true. I have a buddy of mine. We're about to have coffee, and he's like, "I have oatmeal. I have oat milk in my coffee." And he's like, dude, don't have oat milk. That's not bad for you. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, oh, yeah, you're in red and this and that. Like, oh, come on, man. Now, I think I might be drinking too much oat milk, but yeah, moderation. There you go. Yeah, it's moderation. Like,
Right.
yeah, you
Well,
like
depends.
it. It's
Yeah,
a treat.
It depends on how.
Don't give it up
I'm big
completely
on,
just because it's not an absolute for you, right?
So I'm big on the concept of over time you'll go up the hierarchy. You'll care more about, so like you got the basis, like the intake of what you're eating, then you got like protein, and then you got the quality of the foods, and you'll build on that as you pursue what you're doing. And same with business, like you'll start, you just got to start, and then you'll start saying, no, I want my customers to feel this way, and then you'll say, I want them to look this way, I want them to be this way, and then I want my income to, like, you'll just start caring about the higher level and how your team runs and all that. Like, that's the same concept.
Yeah. I love it.
But yeah, absolutes. That would be my answer.
I love it. That's a great answer, dude.
There's no absolutes.
Dude, I think it's ready, and where time is ready to go through the Fast Five. So the Fast Five is where I ask you 5 questions, and you just give me the answer. And if you want to go on a little bit about it, go ahead, but not too much. We're just gonna move on forward, and then we're gonna see where you're at on that. You good?
Sure.
Awesome. So, in your life, who's been an influential person or people in your business journey that's helped you get you out of and get you unstuck?
There's three there.
Cool.
Andy Frisella, Bedros Keuilian, and Alex Hormozi. Those are the podcasts, the books. I would say I've learned and made the most impact in money from those 3.
Love it. Oh, yeah, we'll share those on the show notes for sure. So look them up. Then what's one thing that you wish you had known when you began your business?
Let's see. I guess how to structure a journey for a customer. Yeah, I used to just string things together. And,
Yeah.
I was pretty good at selling fitness because I believed in it. Like, I just was like, dude, you're gonna feel good. Like, you're gonna look good. I promise. Just let's keep going. But like having like a structure to business and how I operated would have been really cool.
Yeah.
And then being able to be profitable in the front end, like, so I didn't feel like, all right, I gotta make money. Like, you knew when the customer came in, if you did it right, you would get money, and then you can go ahead and serve more.
So casting that vision for that member, that customer, for sure. I love that.
Yeah.
Love the customer journey. What's a book, a blog, a podcast, a media you recently consumed that positively has impacted you?
A book, a blog, or a podcast? What's the book I'm reading? Atomic Habits.
Nice.
I've been reading it
Very
for
cool.
quite some time. But it's phenomenal because it really breaks down, honestly, a lot of things that I've done to level up, but it breaks down how you can apply that and how you can replicate it instead of like that mental game of just keep going, just keep pushing. While that grit is there, you can actually take real tactics to make yourself do these things. And know how, have a system around that. And then, of course, I mean, I think they're popular now, but, Andy Frisella, I've been listening to him for like years and years, and just very good nuggets of business and just how to be a great person.
Cool.
And then, of course, Alex Hormozi, I'm telling you, I think he's probably known for this now, but I've read his book, and like every time I read it, I make like $10,000.
I love it. Offers, $100 million offers. Yeah, that's a good book.
No, that was good,
Gym Seekers.
His Gym Launch Seekers. Yeah. Like, that was what changed my entire business. I'm telling you, there was a time, and it feels weird to say it, but there was a time where I was reading that book. I'm like, dude, if I didn't read this book, it scared me because it was so good that what if I didn't read it? Where the hell would I be? Like, I was like, was I capable of this without this book? Because it just opened you up with so much opportunity. Like, oh shit, I didn't see it that way. And then if you're coachable, which hopefully coaches and business owners are in some capacity, you can kind of start seeing, oh wow, look, this can change the game.
Yeah, all these things is positively impacted you, but it closes the gap of knowledge instead of having to go through the experience and whatnot. The downfalls and things. So it's so good. All right, so
pay for speed.
What's a favorite online tool that you know and you like?
The whole internet. No, I I'd say a tool that's new to me, like ChatGPT,
Okay.
would be something that I've been playing around with. Just kind of, it helps bring your thoughts to paper,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can you can put stuff in there, and it'll kind of like spit things out. You're like, yes, that's what I was thinking, or I'm gonna write it like that. But other than that, like like my back end of my businesses, just keeping organized.
Yeah.
Would be like one of the tools that I use on a daily basis, tracking revenue, tracking churn, tracking members, stuff like that.
Yeah. So what do you use for that?
Push press.
Push press. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've recently had Dan Waimura on the show, and he was a great guest. I actually know him personally. And it's funny, I called him one day to get him ready for the show, and he was in Paris, and I'm like, dude, you answered the phone and you're in Paris? I'm like, yeah, dude, I answer anybody I know. I'm like, all right, cool. So just make sure you're ready and stuff. I'm like, yeah. So it was great guy, great company, by the way, too. So go check him out too. I love that. I'd love to hear that. Last question is, what's one habit or practice you do that you believe everyone would benefit from?
One habit or practice? I would say, man, that's good. Like, remembering that you only fail if you quit, I think would be something that, because a lot of times we feel like it's over or we're not going to make it, but like, you can keep going. You know what I mean? Like just constantly reminding myself of, it's not over. Mm-hmm. There's more. There's another opportunity to get better. Today is just one day, and then doing the boring work. Just that's the hard part.
Yeah.
It's just doing the stuff that's not that fun, because it's all cool when you come up with a new idea and you see the math on the paper and like how you're gonna make all this money and how many members and all this stuff you're gonna have, but like then it becomes like, okay, well, what's the work that gets that?
Yeah.
Right. And I like to think that, I guess, like a concept behind all that, I like to look at fitness as kind of like how you do anything, because inside of a workout is your opportunity to like push yourself to discomfort, right? It's your only time when nobody's messing with you, right? Nobody's messing with you, and you get to see like how much more you can do. And I translate that, like all of everything in fitness, like pushing myself, getting stronger, eating better, all that discipline is how you do everything else too. So that's kind of like a concept I go into life with. I'm like, all right, cool, it sucks right now. Like staring at the screen, coming up with these answers to how we're going to solve this problem is not fun. And that's the boring work, right? Tracking those numbers and stuff. But it's just another rep. It's just another set. Just like that boring set, sometimes you're like, man, I've pulled this weight 100 times, but you got to do it again today.
Yeah.
Like you got to do it again today. And that's just it. And that becomes the what you see and what you get to reward yourself with. That's the success.
Great answer, dude. I love that, dude. All right, one last one, and I don't know if you saw it, but it's super. It's dear and near to my heart. So, if you could go back in time and speak to 14-year-old Keith, what piece of advice would you give him?
This is a good question, because it makes you think. It's not about the age, right? 10, 14, 18, that question comes up. But it's important to think on that, the advice, because you can still use it in the moment. And that's why I like the question, right? You can remember it as an adult. But I would say that you're going to need to believe in yourself, right? It would come with like a two-phase here. You're going to need to believe in yourself and believe that you're capable. Right, so that's a requirement. But the bigger piece is how can you do that, right? Because you can tell anybody, you got to believe, but like, how do I start believing? And in order to believe that and build confidence, you're going to have to keep promises to yourself. So as you grow and as you do things, if you say you're going to do it, without a doubt, you 100% do it. You show up for yourself at all times, no matter how it feels. Because that'll give you the confidence to become who you want to become. There isn't one little tactic, one little thing that you can do. It's the whole concept of knowing that you can, and the only way you'll know you can is if you do.
So good. Man, Keith, thank you so much, dude. This has been such a great interview, a time to talk and have a conversation. I appreciate you being open and honest with us. And, dude, man, anything else? Any last minute remarks you want to share?
No, man. I mean, I appreciate. It's been a good time talking to you. I love the questions. I love talking about the stuff. So it's always fun for me.
Awesome, dude. Well, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Man, that was a pretty cool episode. I really enjoyed what Keith said about persevering through challenges in life and how strong a belief system can be to shape the outcome. I hope you found this episode as informative and valuable as I did. If you have any questions or feedback about today's show, feel free to connect with us on Instagram @ReviewBiz and with me @MeetEsco. We would love to hear your thoughts. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen to the episode today. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the show on the platform you're currently listening on, and remember to leave us a rating and review. We would really appreciate it because it improves the show, and your feedback, it would mean the world to us. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the same amazing content and much more. As always, thank you so much for your encouragement. I truly appreciate you listening to the podcast and helping us improve with your comments. I do want you to stay tuned for the clip for the next episode, and I'll be seeing you next time in the Growth Zone.